Welcome to this episode of the Evan Phillips Show, guys. Today we're going to be asking a very simple question. Do you want success? Very easy, right? Stay tuned. All right, guys. So, this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to kind of just focus on some of the things that I've posted recently, which is just in regards to your mentality, in regards to being successful financially, right? So I really believe it all starts with your mindset. Now, this is a very obvious thing, but I think a lot of times it gets overlooked because you live and you just get used to doing things the way that you do them, right? Everyone kind of has their, things that are comfortable and the things they typically buy and the way that they typically buy them. There's not much more thought process outside of that for some people. Not everyone needs to be a financial expert, right? So you're not going to be, the expert that everyone knows and goes to for information. It doesn't matter where your knowledge level is, right? You don't have to be that expert on everything financial, but you should be an expert in basic finances, right? Now, I'm going to talk about 4 different topics in this video. Some are questions, and I'm going to ask those to you guys just to kind of help you think and see where I want you to go. The first question is, what do you want financially? And I don't mean a material item. I mean, where do you want to be? Do you want to be a person that is organized enough and you don't have an issue paying bills or saving some money and having a small emergency fund? Or are you the person who wants to buy $1 million home and drive a Bugatti, right? So not everyone's financial picture has to look the same, and neither will it. So that's the first thing I want to define is just because your neighbors have this doesn't mean that you need to have the same thing. It just depends on where you are and what you really want out of it. The second thing I'm going to ask is, are you okay with your financial picture? With the way that your bank account looks right now, only you know that, with the way your savings and your checking looks like, are you okay with that? Do you feel comfortable with what you've saved and how you're managing your money and how your spending habits affect your savings? Are you okay with that? That's the second question I want to ask. Now, this question is for those people who are not financially in the right place. And the question is, why are you not financially where you want to be? What is it that's holding you back? Is it just something you haven't really put your finger on, or is it just something you've been procrastinating about? What's keeping you from being where you want to be financially? And I don't mean you need a lot of money. I'm talking about the decisions you're making, paying your credit cards or maxing them out or not paying on time. What is it there that's holding you back? And I'm actually going to throw a question in there. Sometimes we do things and they're not necessarily in the script. So we're going to kind of come away from that a little bit. So why are you not placing priority on your financial life? What's really stopping you from doing that? I think me personally, what held me back for some years was just my mentality and the lack of knowledge. I did get to a point where I said, I'm seeing other people being able to save money and do things. Why can't I do that? What's wrong with me? What's the problem? And it really came down to the decisions that I made from day to day and how I spent money and how I viewed money and how I thought, if I get this much money, okay, well, I can just use that to get this thing I want now since I have a little extra. So, that mentality. But what is it for you that's keeping you from making that financial decision in your mind to change the way that you manage your money? Now, this is a kind of a funny question because you don't know what you don't know, right? So, but this question is, what is it that you need to learn? Nowadays we have the internet, right? We've got Google and all these other search engines, and you can kind of find some information nowadays. So it's not so difficult to learn some of those things. But what is it that you feel you need to learn or something that you're not comfortable with? Whether it's understanding how interest rates work, how credit cards work, how loans, how credit works in general. What is it that you need to learn? So this is something that you want to identify. And then my next question is, how do you plan on learning what you don't know? Do you plan on just getting the knowledge suddenly, or do you plan on taking some steps to ask questions that you don't know and getting those answers? So this is a very important question because it makes you really think about, if I don't know something, I need to find it out so that I can start to make better decisions. So you don't have to know everything up front, guys. This is the key to it. Really is, you need to understand that there's an issue with the way that your financial life is going and the decisions you're making, and it's finding the right advice to make better decisions. Now, unfortunately, our education system doesn't really prepare us for basic finances. Why? I have my own thoughts on why, but it's just a question that really hasn't been answered. And this applies especially to the personal finance, basics that we just seem to lack. And it seems to be something that just across the board exists. So, I look at this as an area of, where we need to improve, especially in that area. And that was one of the reasons I started this channel, was really to help other people get to a better understanding. So these are some things you guys can really jot down and think about and come up with some questions. If you guys have questions, always, ask in this video and, put them in the comments below. I'll answer those. We're not done yet, though. A large reason for most finance and money issues is just a lack of financial literacy. Honestly, guys, I don't think it's much more complex than the financial literacy portion and the desire to enhance your financial life. So once again, guys, this is not something to say that everybody has to have $1 million or everybody has to be rich. It doesn't mean that. It means that you're being a good steward of what's been entrusted to you. So if you make $20,000 a year, you can still use that $20,000 in a certain way that is safe. It builds your credit. You can still save money with that, but you have to adjust your mind and how you think about things. So, you have to understand not everyone's going to have the same goals and the same amount of wealth. Those are things that you can't just attain to, but what you can do is you can keep your financial picture healthy. So just because you don't make as much money as this person doesn't mean you can't be healthier. Look, guys, I've worked for many different banks and institutions, and I've sat down with doctors who make $1 million a year. And it really shocked me because back then I thought, well, this doctor he's a millionaire. He's going to have a lot of money. But it's not true. It's just not. Some of these guys were coming into the bank and they were overdrafting their accounts. I was shocked. I was like, wow, you're a doctor. You should not I can't imagine a doctor overdrafting his account, but that was my mindset back then before I understood it's not about how much money you make, guys. You don't need a whole lot of money to be financially savvy or financially successful, right? Success doesn't look like $1 million house or a multi-million-dollar mansion. Success looks like a healthy family with a healthy bank account. And it doesn't mean you have to have millions of dollars, enough to pay your liabilities and your bills monthly without all the stress. So take these tips, guys. Ask yourself these questions. Write down some notes. Answer your own questions as far as what you want. And leave those in the comments below. And as always, I'll be more than glad to answer those questions, guys. And, see how we can help you start the engine to your financial freedom. All right, guys. Thank you, as always, for watching this episode of The Evan Phillips Show. We're out.